that? How's that croissant? Good. Hey everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Field Between. I'm Ahmed.
No, just say what we do. Welcome to
I do being me.
No, welcome to the Field Between, where we discuss spirituality, strange corners of the internet, and politics.
I'm Ahmed.
And we find the field between subjects. I'm Yasmine.
I'm Ahmed.
Hi, everybody.
If we sound tired, it's because we are.
Yeah,
right?
We had a really lovely weekend, but very tiring. Yeah. We had a iftar, the big public iftar we've been talking about that we put on with two friends.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Not only did we talk about it, we did it.
That's true. And a lot of community support. I think like about 120 folks came out, which was lovely.
Mm-hmm. We counted them all.
We did. We counted them up and got their emails for future events. Yeah. But yeah, and then we had like Ahmed's parents staying with us, which was really fun. But we got up early for suhoor and just, basically have not slept much.
Yeah, they do it properly.
I get up, but they get up like way in advance. I usually get up like a half an hour
before.
Yeah, I get up like a half an hour before and I just like shovel a ton of food into my mouth.
Yeah.
They also like didn't eat very much and then stayed awake for a
much.
long time.
Yeah.
Which is like the opposite of my approach, is to eat a lot and go back to bed.
Yeah. I guess everyone has their own style.
Yeah, it's not like a right or wrong, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that was grueling. That was an exhausting event to put on.
Yeah, again, so lovely. We're so grateful. But yeah, definitely tired.
We had to source tables from like 4 different places and load them in 5 different cars and carry them. And then I had to go back to the venue after we'd gotten home because someone lost their telephone.
Yeah, I put it in a bin and then I think that some water bottles went into that bin and I think someone just put it in the recycling.
Yeah, we got home and you're like, oh, I don't have my phone, but it's not a big deal. And I was like, let's use that Find My Phone app. And it's really accurate. It like pinpointed
led you to the trash
can that I had to rummage through at the park to find your phone.
But we found my phone and we're all in one place. And again, like, alhamdulillah, it was such a lovely event. We're so grateful. Yeah, it was really nice.
Mm-hmm. What reading are we going to talk about today? Or actually, do you have anything before the reading?
I have. Well, we don't have a reading today, I don't think. Oh, I had an item.
Oh, it's reading.
It's reading?
Yeah, it's in the New York Times, so it's reading.
Yeah. We're going to be doing a fun question game, which I've got some thoughts on. But before we get into that, do you want to do your items first, or should I start off?
I thought I had more. One is kind of just an interesting thing that I don't know if you saw in the news, but where was it? I want to say this is in Davidson County, where I grew up. Right. There was a church that has the Trinity Moravian Church, which I haven't seen. They for the second year in a row, they've done a debt jubilee.
I did see this. I thought that was so lovely. They bought up a bunch of medical debt. Yeah. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, so last year they purchased $1.65 million worth of debt, and they forgave that in Davidson County.
But the thing I didn't realize about this, the way the debt is bundled, is they buy it for not that much money.
This time around they bought, this should like paint a picture of how just insane and predatory this whole medical debt system is they bought almost $3 million worth of debt, of medical debt, affecting 3,133 people. They purchased it for $15,000.
So nowhere near the amount that it was worth. Yeah,
nowhere near the amount. Yeah. And of course, if they hadn't done that, those debt collectors would be kind of going after for a much larger percentage. And
right.
If this debt can be written off for $15,000 and just erased,
it shows you how imaginary these things are. It's so like arbitrary.
Insane.
But I mean, what a beautiful model. I hope that there are mosques that are doing that. I mean, this is like a really cool thing that faith communities should be doing actively.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to mention that to you because also I know that like you had a point in your life where you had like a crazy amount of medical bills and it was very hard to like keep up with. And I mean, just the way that like you get billed like months later and you don't even realize someone was in the room when you were not conscious. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I thought this was really moving.
Yeah, it's insane. If anyone's ever dealt with it, it's like another full-time job to track down
it's
who's
crazy.
billing you and if they're right. And then a lot of times they overbill you, and then a year later you may get a check, or a year later you may get another bill from someone who you didn't know was involved with the procedure, or find that it's gone to collection. And then once it's gone into collection, it's a whole different strategy of dealing with it, because it's not always advantageous to just pay it, because you need in writing from that collections agency that they'll take it off your credit,
right,
or undo the report on the hit on your credit.
It's not just like intuitive that you should pay off
you
as much as you can.
They'll come after you and tell you that they might, or that they'll that you need to pay it off, but you could pay it and then you're still fucked credit wise. But I thought that was like a really awesome story.
I love that.
I have one other stupid thing that just kind of made me laugh. I don't know if it'll resonate with you as much, but I was just scrolling and saw this.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
Is he also gay?
No.
Not that the punchline? Oh.
I don't know if he's gay, but I think
something was like exceptional about him.
It's just this news anchor. I wonder if he is gay. Actually, that
right, and she was just
she was just in her head saying, "Don't say he's gay. Don't say he's gay. That's not the thing. That's not the thing. He's blind."
Yeah. Poor guy.
And she was like, "Shit."
That's silly but funny.
Yeah, that's
nice.
it. What do you got?
Mine was this article that was going around my corner of the internet a lot called "Is Therapy Speak Making Us Selfish?" And it's a Bustle article, and I appreciated it. I think it overstated the case a little bit, but I still appreciated the sentiment that there's been a lot of like therapized language has become more popular, especially on social media, like little Instagram reels and Instagram stories and posts that are supposed to kind of teach you how to set boundaries, and some of that stuff like I follow and I find helpful. But I think that there's been a kind of helpful counter conversation to that as to like how that's not the same thing as actually working with a trained professional, and how also that language can be kind of weaponized. And so the article was talking about like people talking about setting boundaries and then just kind of like being jerks to their friends and really abruptly cutting them out of their life, or using the language of boundaries, which is important. I mean, boundaries are important, but using it in a way that's kind of excessive. And I guess that's relative to say what is excessive, but I found it interesting.
The idea that everything in your life just should serve you in exactly the way that you want it to.
That's the thing. I think if you've got a good therapist, which like I do currently, she's excellent. There's someone who is on your team and working from your perspective, but they are interested in kind of you as a person who exists in like community and society, But I think taken to an extreme, sometimes therapy can have the effect of kind of validating anything that you do as an individual. So it's a tricky line.
Or I've heard of men going to therapy because they'd been asked to by like a female romantic partner, and they'll take the language of therapy and kind of weaponize it against their partner and use it to manipulate. And I'm sure that happens quite a bit. That's
the thing. I mean, I think therapy provides tools, but it doesn't make you a good person. So it's up to you how you use those tools. I've also, though, had the experience of like, I mean, I'm sure everyone's had this experience, but I've had the experience of like male friends who went and saw a therapist and really did become better communicators. So I've also experienced it from the other end. I've been really grateful for those kind of like intentional changes. But
yeah, I think my experience has been that I've done couples therapy before, or we do couples therapy also.
Right, and you had done it in your previous relationship too.
I think the first time I kind of did a few sessions, I did learn a lot about communication and about why I communicate in certain ways, and then not just saying, "Oh, well, I have traumas, and so therefore I communicate like this, and you have to be okay with it. Otherwise, you're invalidating my traumas." I think it used it to kind of make a more active change and say like, okay, it seems like it would be better if I was clearer in communicating emotions and stuff like that. But
yeah, we find couples therapy very helpful. I feel like it's just a nice touchstone, and it is very different than individual therapy because of what you're saying, because it's relational. And so for me, they fulfill very different purposes. Yeah.
Even though, I really, like doing the couples therapy with you. Even though I kind of I'm taking a break from my individual therapy, because I did feel like it was getting to the point where I was looking back on times in my life and I was like, oh yeah, I really I fucked that up, or I made a decision that hurt someone and that made me feel bad and I messed up. I felt like I was almost being given an out of those feelings.
Interesting.
And I was just like, well, why do you feel like what you did was wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know. I feel like it was trying to help me cope.
And you wanted to more explore why you did the things that you did, or kind of reckon with them.
Yeah, or be okay with the fact that I did something wrong and maybe I should experience some shame or guilt about it.
Yeah. It seems like you did also work through some stuff with your last stint in therapy, though, so I was glad.
There's a lot of stuff that I did work through that I'm grateful for, but I feel
you kind of hit a wall with that particular therapist, where it was kind of the first you were going to go.
Perhaps, yeah. And also insurance switched over.
Circling back to the debt. Yeah. The field.
Yeah. Remember that, I guess since we're talking about insurance, it's worth mentioning, I recently had a lung scan, and it was totally fine. I think it was just a precautionary thing that my doctor wanted to do. But I went in network, and then we were driving somewhere, and then I get a random robocall from my health insurance company. I thought they were maybe following up about it, and it was a robocall that was just did you know that sometimes going in network is actually more expensive than going out of network? And essentially they had put me on a list to receive this robocall because I'd gone in network, and they were like, why the fuck did you do that, you idiot? You should have gone out of network. Now we have to pay for this.
It was so funny because the beginning of the call, I think we both thought, or at least I thought, oh, they're going to say that, don't worry, it's covered, or make sure you stay in network, because that's the kind of what you're told. That's why we have insurance. Right. So it was so hilarious. It was the exact opposite.
I think last enrollment period, I was offered supplemental insurance, which is the first time I'd been offered that supplemental insurance for my health insurance, in case my health insurance needed its own insurance. Yeah, they were just like, do you want, which just, I don't know how you get to that level of,
it's ridiculous.
Stupidness.
I mean, I'm fairly healthy, knock on wood. And I have fairly strong insurance, even though I get paid shit as a grad student. I have very strong insurance. And even then, it's almost impossible sometimes. Yeah. So I cannot imagine people with more complicated situations.
Yeah.
And even that's also so arbitrary. We don't have dental. And it's well, those are part of my body. My teeth are in my mouth.
Why is it a different thing?
As soon as we got married, that's one of the first things that I did, because I had such a huge, drastic income shift. We make so much more together. I made almost
I was
nothing
so pissed
alone
when you went to that dentist and you came back and they were like, yeah, you don't have any cavities after you hadn't been prepped. The first time
lucky.
The first time I had health insurance, when I was after graduating from, or not health insurance, health insurance and dental insurance.
Right.
I went to the dentist and I had 20 cavities.
Right. This reminds me of my parents. My dad doesn't take very good care of his teeth.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had that many dental issues relatively. And my mom takes such good care of her teeth, and she just has soft teeth, and they're just constantly having issues, and it makes her so annoyed.
And now I'm just so diligent about the flossing and everything.
I'm getting better, but yeah.
What else?
That's all I had to say about the article. It was interesting to hear people's takes on it also across Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Some people were like, ugh, I've been hearing this from other people and it's so frustrating. And other people were like, oh, this woman is invalidating therapy. I was like, that's a bit far. I don't think she's saying
you don't think that was it? Yeah,
no, I don't think she was saying hey, don't use this kind of language. I think she was just saying use it thoughtfully,
Yeah.
And with nuance.
Yeah, I wonder if therapists are doing anything to kind of see. That's why I feel I really wanted a therapist that kind of calls you on your shit.
It's tricky though. I don't know if it's exactly that tool. I mean, I think it can be somewhat. I mean, it's also tricky because something my therapist has worked on with me a lot is she definitely doesn't pretend that I'm a perfect being. If I'm struggling with something, or if I do something that I regret later, there's space for that. But I think that she's found that I'm sure a lot of people find that when you really excessively indulge in shame, in a way, it kind of stops you from working through the behavior and kind of like rationalizing it and sitting with it. It's kind of like, well, I messed up. I fucked up again. Like I did this pattern again that I've been trying not to do.
Yeah.
So I think there's something,
me.
right. I think there's something to trying to like avoid excessive shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't watch The Sopranos. You did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that was like a plot point that my parents really enjoyed and thought was interesting, that like he was maybe enabled a little bit by access to therapy to become like a more effective criminal, essentially.
Interesting. My memory of The Sopranos is not very good. It was a good show. I remember enjoying it.
I couldn't get into it.
I don't remember.
We're watching Breaking Bad right now.
Uh-huh.
Ahmed's seen it before. It's my first time. And it's so good. I know I'm like years, like a decade late, but it's really good.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Really
Pretty good.
It's not chill though. We watch it before bed and people like get dissolved and shit. And then I like try and sleep, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why you find that show scary. It's
because
not like a horror.
No, that's why it's scary, because it's like real life.
Well, I also don't think it's real life.
I know, but it's like, horrors that you could maybe imagine happening.
Yeah, I guess that goes for any horror.
No, not like when you watch like sci-fi type stuff or like
all this
kitschy horror.
Moving stuff around is going to be great audio.
Sorry, just getting my laptop up.
Yeah.
All right, shall we transition? I'm excited. So one of my favorite, we're going to be talking about the New York Times 36 Questions to Fall in Love.
Yeah.
Which probably a lot of y'all have heard of. It's circulated around
Another
the
thing
internet.
that we're breaking here for the first time.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
It was published in 2015. So
this New York Times 36 questions. But there's relevance to our relationship.
Yeah. So a couple things about this. One, I love these. I think that they're so lovely. I've done them with a number of people. Okay. I did them with my cousins when we were doing this like road trip to Nashville. We did it in the car and it was really fun. I've done them with my friend Brittany when we were traveling in Morocco.
And did you fall in love?
I already loved her, but I felt like I loved her more deeply for sure. Cool. And then I did them with a stranger my very last night in Portland before I moved.
A stranger?
Yeah.
You fell in love with a stranger?
I didn't fall in love, but it was a really sweet conversation. Yeah. It was like a little surreal. I was in this 24-hour cafe, which has since closed, RIP, in Southeast Portland. And I had like all my stuff with me, which wasn't much. It was like a time in my life where I didn't have that much. And I was waiting to go to the airport and I had already like left and packed out of my apartment. So I was just like, I'll just wait in this cafe until 1 and I'll order a cab.
Yeah.
And it was just like a funky place. It's like Portland can be an annoying place. It's not my favorite place, but this was kind of the best of Portland. Just like a lot of characters and a lot of people who like really were like tied to that neighborhood and went to the cafe often. And there was this like young man who was just like, "Are you like killing time?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Sure." Like I was bored and it was fun.
Nice.
And then we did them. Ahmed and I did them early in our relationship. And I've never met someone who was so critical of the questions.
Yeah.
He was like constantly critiquing them.
Some of them are very poorly formulated and they presume experience, or they kind of bias you toward an answer. But
yeah, but he still did them and it was really fun. And then he wrote his own questions, which was very cute.
I wrote ones that were worded without the presumption.
You can be a little literal sometimes. I think you wanted like questions that had no ambiguity, like in how they could be interpreted.
Yeah, they were also very ambiguous.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of them, but we can go through some of them now.
And it was really cute because he wrote all these questions and I think he thought that would keep me going for a long time, but we got through them fairly quickly. I remember him looking at his little note and being like, "Oh,
shit."
Yeah.
This woman talks.
I do.
So your a thing you love to do is
play a game called Questions.
I guess it's not even really a game called Questions. It's just depositions.
So no, this is a game that I've been playing, full disclosure, since I was in high school with my high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
I've played it with every partner that I've had.
I like that you call it a game. It really is just as saying, "Hey, would you like to play questions?" And then if the person says yes, you just continue.
So the way that it works, let me explain. You ask them a question and then they answer it and they respond with the question.
Yeah. Okay.
You can re-ask a question if it's out of interest, but you can't. That doesn't count as your turn.
It doesn't count.
So there are some, there's some rules.
I like to call that maybe having a conversation.
But I will say, this is why, not the only reason why I married you, but like you've never lost patience with me, which I really appreciate. Everyone else I've dated eventually completely shut down questions.
Yeah, you just. They're just like a smoldering,
no more questions.
Smoldering husks, just incapable of.
Truthfully, we don't play it as often anymore because now that we live together, we just kind of naturally talk throughout the day.
Well, that's my thing. Is I'm like, you can just ask me questions.
But the thing is, it's sometimes nice because it kind of like makes you think about things you wouldn't normally, and like sometimes it can be for really deep stuff. But also, I really like just playing it in like a playful way, like. Like silly scenarios and stuff. You can have fun with it.
No, I really do appreciate it. There are times I feel like now where I'm like, yo, I'm exhausted. I cannot do this.
You're such a patient man.
But I think on our second date when you kind of did that, that was something that I found exciting because it felt like, oh, hey, we're both kind of just being vulnerable. Very open book with each other, and it was nice.
And there's like a directness that I like about it, like to kind of cut through the bullshit sometimes, just be like, what is something you actually want to ask someone instead of just kind of having to filtrate through. I struggle with that a little bit with like small talk. I can do it, like I'm able to do it and I do it fairly well, but it's not something I really enjoy. And I feel like I really appreciate the feeling of like deep connection, which I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten more mature. I'm like, okay, not every single human being and I need to have a deep connection. That's not realistic. But I don't know. I think there's something that comes with intimacy and vulnerability from asking and like genuinely answering that is lovely.
So I think we're coming up on our 1-year marriage anniversary.
Soon, May 15th.
Right?
Yeah. Wait, I couldn't remember. How long have we been together? We've been married for almost a year. How long have we been together?
Since September 2020. So it's been like 2.5 years.
We're really still kind of young. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Or like a little more than 2.5, I suppose.
Yeah. Wait, isn't it 3 years? Because
it'll be 3 years in September.
In September, huh? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a good time to revisit something that was
and honestly it's like a fun lighthearted thing to do
of our relationship. And reflect on those moments. Let's see if the questions make any more sense to me now.
See if Ahmed's as critical of the questions.
Yeah.
All right. And some of these, I think, like the idea of this, the way that it was written in the original New York Times article in 2015 was that you're falling in love with a stranger. Some of these we might skip if they don't really apply to us anymore.
You're
but I'll
a stranger
read them out
to
loud.
Me every day, and I have to.
That's honestly a good. It's not bad to have that mindset a little bit. Not to that extreme,
I don't know.
But you're always changing. That's the thing. The person that you fall in love with will be a slightly different person. Over time.
And then by the time you've been married to them, you're like, who the fuck is this
No,
person?
I mean, I've loved that. I feel like my sister and I talk about this. I think sometimes we overly idolize our parents' marriage, but it's like a blessing to be able to do that. But they really have changed a lot.
They're a good, what do you call?
Role model. Yeah, but I think, they've talked about the ways that they've changed or they never could have guessed when they first met when they were 18 and 19, and so I think it's good to have that kind of mindset of like, oh, wherever life takes you, you're still interested in getting to know this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, set 1. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. They increase in intimacy with each set.
Oh my God.
Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
I don't know. You?
No, boo. That's not. That's like very cute. But
my dinner guest.
I'm your dinner guest all the time.
I can't think of any.
You can't think of anyone. How about like a drummer that you love, or like a?
I don't know if I'd want to eat dinner with him.
How about like an artist that you love, or like someone who makes movies that you really enjoy? Oh, how about like some of your like what about like Bernie Sanders or?
I don't know if I'd want to eat with Bernie Sanders either.
Okay.
Like, what are we gonna?
How about Brianna? That'd be fun.
That sounds like you want to have dinner with her.
No.
Yeah.
Would you want to? What's her full name again?
Well, Brianna Joy Gray.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
Everyone should listen to her podcast. But okay, I'm caught between like I feel like we should skip this question because we could go on it forever.
Just answer the question.
Well, no, because the people I can think of, I'm like, really? Is that the person who I would choose out of the whole world?
You're already overthinking it, and we're only on the first question.
Yeah. But this is the problem with I have a problem with favorites questions.
Yeah,
where it feels like you have to make one decision that
I've actually,
meets all your criteria,
when we play questions,
I don't like
I've
that.
actually purposely started. Have you noticed? I've started rephrasing to be like, "What's an experience that you really enjoy?" Because I noticed that about you. You don't love superlatives. All right.
Yeah. I would love to have dinner with any of those people, but I'm like, if I could choose only one.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question.
With choice, yeah.
Okay, this is silly, but maybe Sabotage. She's like artist in Durham. That's really lovely.
Really, you're given the whole world.
I think so.
And they're great.
Yeah.
But they also live like 30 minutes from here.
I know, it's like kind of could be achievable. I know, I think so. I feel like I found her art at a time that I was like really interested in exploring Islam and queerness. It'd be really cool to talk to her about that.
Cool.
Yeah. Maybe if not her, Trevor Noah.
Because
he's really funny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We probably have to talk about our marriage after that, but okay.
No.
Yeah.
It's just dinner. You would be there. It didn't say I have to be alone.
Date.
No.
Well, it doesn't say you're not alone. It says you.
Okay.
Not you and your partner.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. This next one you can answer. I believe in you.
Cool.
Would you like to be famous? In what way?
Famous in what way? I mean, who wouldn't?
Not everyone. I think that you and I both kind of have a desire, but I don't think everyone does.
It depends, I guess, in what way. The way that I would find a balance between being famous and not.
I'm going to answer these questions first. I think that would be better.
Okay.
I would like to be famous. I mean, if I'm being honest, like really, really honest, I think that I always daydream about being famous for my work, like for my writing.
Yeah. Great.
So I think both for like poetry, creative writing, and then also for my academic work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I
don't really have any like just talents like that for which I would be famous.
You've got Ahmed.
I would like to actually. I'd like to go have one beat go viral,
or a screenplay, or any of your other bajillion creative projects.
That would be cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a kind of a background. You know, you're not like on the late night talk shows doing interviews, but they're like, damn, this guy wrote this.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's going to be good.
Nice. I like that.
That'd be cool.
All right. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say and why? I'll start.
Oh, okay.
I do. Yeah. I mean, not if I'm calling you or a close friend, but if I'm calling almost anyone else outside of maybe like 7 people that I talk to on the phone fairly regularly, my family and a few friends.
Did you used to rehearse what you were going to say with me?
No, but you were very quick to talk on the phone, and I found it very
quick to talk on the phone.
Yeah. I found it.
We can cut this out, but we had sex, and then you're like, whoa, you wanted to talk on the phone already?
You don't have to cut this. I think it was very sweet, but I think I just like wasn't in the habit of talking to a partner regularly on the phone because I hadn't had a long relationship for a while. And I think you...
Yeah, I thought that was fucked up. Hold on, I'm going to turn on the AC. It's getting hot in here.
Okay. The questions are heating up. Don't turn it on too high.
I'm going to do what needs to be done.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
No, I think it was so sweet, but it just felt to me like very intimate. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't used to it. But then I started... Actually, it was really...
You were so weird.
Really?
Yeah, because I think for a little while, you would just kind of like text me or something.
I was a bigger texter.
And then I hate texting.
Yeah.
And we would just call each other on the weekends, kind of, or like once every couple days. And I was like, what the fuck is up with this?
I remember about a month into our relationship, actually, you told me that you missed talking on the phone with a partner, which kind of hurt, but was a fair thing to hear. Yeah. Because it felt like a comparison, though it was obviously not meant that way.
Yeah. I like being on the phone. Like my reflex when I get in the car or whatever.
Yeah, which now I love.
I just want to talk to someone.
And you like call me, you're just so sweet.
Yeah.
No, I mean then
I don't even like have anything to say. I'm
just like, After that first month, I mean, then because we were living like not that far apart, but for me with my driving, it was an hour drive. For Ahmed, it was like a 37-minute drive, so fairly far.
It's not that far.
I mean, but we didn't see each other every day, is what I'm saying. So we'd gotten the habit of talking on the phone quite regularly, like every night, and it became something I really look forward to. And I would like make mental notes throughout my day, what to tell you. Yeah. Which I still do that, but now I just tell you in person because I live with you.
Right. We do live together.
We do. Yeah. All right. But I was gonna say, I practice telephone calls with everyone else. Like I'll write down bullet points.
I do it with like if I have to call right now, I'm in a little battle with the bank.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then before that, if I had to call like the hospital bill,
like for professional type things, or that's fair.
Or a job interview. But if I'm just calling a friend or whatever,
then you're not doing that. Yeah. Sometimes even if I'm calling a close friend, if there's things that I want to remember that I wanted to tell them, I'll like jot down a few notes, but it's not formal, just so I don't forget. Yeah. Or I'll like write reminders for myself of like things to follow up with about friends if I'm trying to remember things that are going on in their lives. And yeah. All right. What would constitute a perfect day for you? Does not have to be the most perfect day that ever existed. Yeah. I'll rephrase this to say, what would constitute a really lovely Sunday for you?
I think a good day, nice weather. Mm-hmm. Or actually, I feel like your overall mood and what you want should match the weather. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be nice weather. It just has to be matching. Complementary. And then it can go 1,000 different ways. There's no perfect day. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of, it could be getting up and just making coffee and just having like a very slow day and doing nothing but watching TV or movies or something and being very indulgent. Mm-hmm. Or it could be like a day where you feel very energized and you like go to the gym, work on a project or two, and then like knock out some house chore stuff, and then you just like feel very productive. Nice. Those are kind of my...
I feel like going to your favorite bakery often seems to be a part of like your day that you like. Yeah. I think for me, either being in like a new city and wandering around with you. I think perfect day involves like some reading, some time alone, some time with you, and some time with like friends or family, and really perfect food. Like every meal is amazing. Yeah, that's like a perfect day. And also I slept the right amount and like my body feels good. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna skip this.
You gotta point that microphone at your mouth.
All right.
Yeah, good job.
I can't answer this. I don't remember. When did you last sing to yourself? I don't know.
Kind of all the time. Probably earlier today, I sing stupid things to myself.
It's cute.
All the time. It's not really... Not real songs.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I sang to myself. I listened to pop in the car, so I usually sing along with that. Okay. Probably Lavender Haze by Taylor Swift. Yeah. All right. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
If you were able to live to 90.
Yes.
And then mind or body of a
30-year-old.
30-year-old.
For the last 60 for the last 60 years of your life. Okay. Yeah.
I'm guessing this is like a healthy 30-year-old cuz
right.
I'm 30 and I have chronic pain.
Right.
So, retaining this for
I mean, I guess if you could guarantee it would never get worse, but yeah, it is pretty unsustainable at times.
Is it the mind or body of like you as a 30-year-old?
Sure. If that's easier.
Damn, I don't know. Both kind of suck.
It could be of me if that's easier. It doesn't have to be your body. Not like you would take on my body, but like my level of comfort.
I would be interested to know I've always been interested to know what it would feel like to be in someone else's body.
Yeah, like same.
I'm like, what do you feel like when you wake up?
Yeah, I had back pain for a week, only for a week, because I think I maybe lifted something weird, but also I just was kind of crunched over my dissertation. Yeah. And it really made me think like, yikes, like I don't know how you handle this all the time. It totally destroyed my mood. And it was only a week. Yeah. It was torture. Yeah. It was like kind of crazy.
I think I would do body. I think it's just like such a big obsession of mine that I'm like, I don't know.
That's fair.
Because there are a lot of times when you do tests and stuff too, and the doctors are just like, you look great. Right. What the fuck are you doing here?
Right.
And you're just like, okay, maybe I am being just like a little bitch.
You're not. Like, no, you're in a lot of pain a lot of the time.
I don't know. Every once in a while, I'm just like, maybe that's the case. What about you?
I always have said
a good mind. I feel like you'll have a good mind.
I always have said mind, yeah, because I feel like it's like so much of like my work and what I enjoy, and I also have like a little bit of a fear of like losing my mind, and so I feel like that would be really hard for me.
Why is that something in your family?
No, but I think there's like genetic like mental health disorders in my family, and so whenever I've had like kind of low points, I kind of worry that I'm having an episode, or like that's definitely something that's in the back of my head. And yeah, but
that's not a thing that is age related, right?
It's not. No,
it's not degenerative, I guess.
It's not. Yeah. Though also, I mean, my grandfather had Alzheimer's. He also was an alcoholic, but and it's really funny because the doctors are always like, but we like. I mean, I also should say I love my grandfather, who's a wonderful man. But I mean, I think there was probably some kind of link there. It certainly didn't help. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think of my mind as a pretty good tool, but also something that I worry could turn on me. So I think that would be hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
All right. I don't want to do this one because I think it's depressing. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? I do not. Let's keep going.
Okay. That's fine.
Name 3 things that you and your partner appear to have in common.
That's a lot of things.
Well, I think this is like starting more surface level. Maybe we've both got nose rings now.
We do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been wanting to get each of us to get magnets instead of the rings, and then we can just stick our noses together. I think that would be really cute thing that we could do. We
have like thick curly hair.
Yeah, me more recently.
Yes, done a great job with that.
It's been a project for the last 2 years.
You did a great job.
I think we like to read a lot of the same things. We're interested in a lot of the same things politically.
We have a lot of overlap in interest. Yeah.
We both like to try new foods.
Both pretty invested in building community.
Very.
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
I'm content.
I think we have similar senses of humor.
Yeah, I think we do, which is surprising because
very surprising.
I wouldn't have guessed that, but we actually do in the end. Yeah.
Sometimes I think this is all you. I think it was there before, but sometimes I'm just like, damn. Did I drag Yasmine down?
I think there's also something about like when you, at least for me, because I've never lived with someone before, when you live with someone, you really like, I feel like you're not pretending to be something that you're not. Like, yeah there's like a little bit more of like, all right, I can laugh at this even if, not like I would have intentionally not before, but yeah. For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
For my smoking hot wife. I think I feel
I think you, and then really all the close relationships that we have, like all of our loved ones, I feel grateful for, our close friends, our family.
Yeah. I feel I reflect a lot on just like the level of openness and kind of intentionality. I don't know why. I just feel like there were a lot of things with kind of starting our relationship that I was like not necessarily afraid to have, right? Like we had, very candid, open, non-judgmental conversations about money and how we would handle money. And I don't know why I thought that would like go poorly, but I was just like very happy with how those went and how we kind of discussed that and planned stuff together. Yeah, I feel grateful to just like be supported by someone who like supports me for me. Yeah.
Likewise. I was telling my parents today, actually, I keep on thinking about my parents. I caught up with them this morning. Like, I feel very grateful for the ways that you make my world feel bigger, which is nice. I mean, and of course, you never want to make it seem like that's one person's responsibility, but this is really the first time. I mean, there's many points in my life where I'm obviously grateful for you, but I think especially in this dissertation writing time, I keep on thinking about a version of me that would be so much sadder without you. And it makes me so grateful. Like, I just, like that I get to like go straight from this thing that's a little isolating to stuff that's so filled with community and love. And so I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for you and also for the connections that I feel like we build together. Like, I feel like that you come with like more, which is nice.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
It's like that song in Aladdin.
What?
I can show you the world.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really huge.
Those are definitely the lyrics.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? That's a hard one. And you can kind of answer that as you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Whatever you feel comfortable with. You don't have to, yeah.
What are they trying to have you meet a stranger and then, like, be their therapist?
When I played this with this person, like this stranger.
What did they say? Tell us their business.
They had just gotten clean off of like a cocaine addiction, so they had like a lot of.
That's not from childhood, though.
No, but it was rooted in their childhood and their understanding.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Yeah, like there is something kind of that kind of makes you cut to the chase with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was not addicted to cocaine as a child.
That's not the big reveal.
That's a rich person's drug, and we were not that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about a lot, especially since we've been visiting New York together. Just how I try to imagine, but it's kind of like a exercise in futility, but how different of a person I would be if I'd grown up in a place like New York versus Thomasville. And this is a dumb thing to say, but like holding all else equal, which you can't really, right?
Right.
Same parents.
Same socioeconomic situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how different would we be?
Right.
Just like mentally, would I be less prone to depression?
Mm-hmm. That's something we wondered a lot, because actually you seem to, which is so sweet, you seem to really find the stimulation of big cities like very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. I find myself like I'm able to be like a lot more present in conversation and just kind of being in, I don't know, like being able to take so many different paths and wandering around, and just you're constantly faced with something that stimulates you.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, I'm like less prone to depression there, but who knows? Yeah.
So maybe where you grew up. Though you also rep Thomasville a lot, which is very sweet. But that doesn't mean that
I have an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Now for sure, I think, but yeah.
I'm so hesitant to answer this because I'm so grateful for the way I was raised, and I feel kind of bad to answer it. But of course, like no one is perfect. Like we all like have stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would change this because I think it's so fundamentally shaped me. But maybe like there was some like mental health stuff in our family with other family members. I think maybe if we had been able to have language to name that earlier, that might have been helpful.
Yeah.
I think that on the other hand, there was like a bond that we formed in dealing with that. But yeah, I think if we had kind of known, I think my parents and I knew something was off.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been really, it would have made us feel like less like we were crazy and kind of constantly whistling in the dark if we had been able to like name it earlier on.
Right.
And I think there's a sense of guilt that we weren't able to. Well, I don't want to speak for them, but for me, actually, when I was quite young, I actually guessed the diagnosis, and then like it just didn't get picked up. But that we didn't like get people help earlier. Yeah. So probably that. But also, I'd be a different person, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's always like a difficult thing. But,
yeah.
Feel free to skip around to some of the juicy questions.
No, we got to go through.
We're at 45 minutes.
This is how you build the intimacy. It's how the questions work.
Oh.
It's very scientific.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
There's like a scientist in a lab with like chemicals and shit, and they were measuring intimacy juices.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. The next one we're going to skip because
I
think we know each other. It's take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. We'll skip that.
God. Okay.
12, if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? Mine would be to speak Arabic. I've tried, and I think I still can get there. Honestly, I think if I like really focused, it wouldn't be that bad, but the amount of time I put into it and how bad I am is crazy. Like it doesn't come naturally to me, and I would love to be able to communicate with your family. I'd love to be able to read stuff more easily. So probably just to be bilingual.
One quality or ability. I mean, quality. I would just kind of live pain free. That would be awesome. And then that's ability, I think I'd love to just be able to take more risks.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
If a crystal ball to set 2. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I guess you could also say if you would want to know. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I guess I would add on to that. Do you want to know anything?
Yeah.
All right, don't Ahmed. Okay. What would you, if you could know the future, would you want to know it, and for what?
No.
Really?
I think
interesting.
Yeah, I think it kind of, there are a couple of things. I never I think I told you this. There were like points in my life where I was just like wouldn't really imagine the future, and like I just didn't really goal set or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because it just kind of felt like I was like collaborating things together in my life and just kind of
doing the best you could.
Yeah. And then, but now I feel like, yeah, we have goals together, but I also feel like we support each other in a way. Like the future is kind of like in flux, and we don't have to like
know it.
We don't have to know it.
That's fair.
I know that you'll be there, and then we can figure out the rest. So I don't think so, because I think that would give me like a sense of being trapped.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would want to know for sure that we have kids. I think that's something I worry about a little bit.
You would want to know whether or not we have kids.
Yeah, and how many. I think that's like the only thing I can think about that we don't fully align on in terms of future goals. It's kind of a big one. So yeah, I think that's something I'd want to know. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time, and why haven't you done it?
Yeah, I think I've dreamt of like traveling more. So why haven't I done it? Traveling, I think just not having had the opportunity before. And then I think when I got to a place where I could, COVID.
Right.
And then now we're starting to kind of hopefully get around.
We've done one international trip. We've actually done quite a bit of domestic traveling together, considering we've only been together for 2.5 years. We've done some dens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Japan, inshallah.
Yeah.
This is a silly one because I could do it, but I think like finding a place that I feel politically involved and that I'm growing in terms of like organizing work would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What stopped you?
Probably just myself. I don't think it's anything deep. Yeah.
Interesting.
What's the greatest accomplishment of your life? I think I can't just pick one.
Really?
Yeah. I think like marrying you. And
that's the accomplishment?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was such a big thing and such a big change and such a lovely change and such a massive thing. I
think the things that we've done since getting married.
I think definitely like some of the events that we've put on and like the community that we've been able to help be a part of has been lovely.
Yeah.
I think being there for family members has been important to me. You know, it's so weird. I used to think that would be my biggest accomplishment, but it doesn't feel like it. Really? I feel happy about it. Like it's not that I don't feel proud, but it doesn't have the same weight that I thought it would.
Do you think maybe when you get your the gown and stuff, you'll feel
maybe? Oh, I guess actually getting a job feels like a big accomplishment to me, even though huge. I think that it was partially luck of the draw because it's just like an awful market.
No,
it is partially. I mean, I have so many friends that are so qualified that are not getting jobs.
Things aligned well for you, but
no, I'm not saying that I'm not like deserving, but I'm just saying that I know, particularly in my industry, others who are also deserving, and it's just kind of a messed up industry. But yeah, I do feel proud of that. That was a lot of work.
You should feel proud.
Yeah. What do you value most in a friendship?
What number is this?
16.
16. Oh boy.
I'll start skipping around a little bit.
What do I value in a friendship?
Yeah.
A lot of things. I would say loyalty and vulnerability
are
2 things.
Those are good ones.
I think loyalty is important though.
Yeah. I think just like being able to hold like emotional space and process together is really important for me.
Yeah.
There's a couple of friends I like rely on kind of heavily, honestly, to like stay emotionally regulated. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm skipping around now. Are you ready?
I will say on the loyalty for friends too, and maybe this connects back to that therapy shit where you don't just discard people when they mess up or when you feel like they're not doing exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I just feel like part of being loyal is just, even if your friend is doing something, you either let them know or you like stick it out with them. You don't just kind of throw someone away because they messed up or they might be acting in a way that you feel is like beneath them or something like that.
You're there for the better version of themselves. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to read the ones I'm skipping. Actually, I'll just skip them. It's all right. All right, I'm skipping 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
There's not a single good one in there?
A lot of them are a little repetitive, just like more intense. Like, what does friendship mean to you? That kind of thing. All right. This is cute. Okay. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Share a total of 5 items. I
thought these were for strangers.
But by 22, you know things about them.
So in a matter of 21 questions, you become
you could be
from
like
strangers to partner.
You could be like, okay, I guess the partner language is weird, but partner like in the exercise, I guess.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question again?
Alternate sharing, something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. I'll start. The first thing I was drawn to about you, like the very first time I met you, is you have a huge depth of imagination is not the right way to put it, but like you have a lot of vision, which really drew me to you, and it still draws me to you. Like very big picture, very good big picture thinking. Yeah, that's very creative and outside the box, and I love that. Yeah.
I do think you are like very fiercely loyal to your friends and family.
Oh, I can say that for you too.
And I think that was like something that definitely drew me to you.
Yeah. You really want people to be comfortable. Something I like about you, like you really try to set people at ease on like a very fundamental level. It's important to you.
Yeah. I like the way you think. You're very, yeah.
I want to say that I love the way that you write. I don't know if that is okay or counts, if that's different than visionary, but I love your writing in multiple genres. Like I love your poetry. I love your screenplay writing.
Yeah. I think the poetry thing goes for you also. Boy, sorry, I'm pausing because I'm tired, not because I can't think.
Don't worry.
Like one thing that drew me to you is just like I don't know, there was like this energy that I feel like how do you describe this? Also, just like very much like seeking and appreciative of like the same kinds of like beauty that I was. Yeah. And I felt like we kind of really bonded on that level.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like we were like searching for the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like this is something I've been thinking about more recently. I don't really know the right language for it, but I feel like there's a bit of an intensity to both of us and like our desire to feel viscerally alive. Yeah. That is like sometimes a good thing and sometimes not.
I think also, I guess it could just be characterized as like, I feel like we have values that align very well.
That's like the positive side of it. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a certain intensity that we have. Yeah. I mean, which a lot of people have. It's not unique to us, but I felt that in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that.
This is not something I thought I would enjoy as much as I do. Like, not like I disliked it, but it wasn't something that drew me to you initially. But you're very funny, and it, like on a daily level, it just makes life like lighthearted and fun. Like I've come to appreciate your humor more. Yeah. I always appreciate your humor, but I appreciate it like it's higher on my list than it was initially. Yeah. Not like I liked you in spite of it, but it wasn't really like something that I was like, oh, that's funny, but it wasn't like something that I found like was my main thing. You know what I mean? And just day in and day out, it's just like a really nice thing to kind of smooth things over. Yeah. Yeah.
I like how not judged I feel around you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Which is maybe not something I would have said. I would have said that when we first met. There was like that brief period of time where I was like, damn, I don't know if she's gonna appreciate certain things about me. But I think that's been good. Your hair.
It's all over the place.
I love that.
I mean, if we're doing that, then I appreciate like your body, obviously. And you're very handsome. I appreciate your style. I like that you like, and also it's very surface level. But maybe it's not. Like, I appreciate that we have compatible aesthetics. Like, I like that we like to make our space beautiful together. We argue a lot over details, but I like that we have like similarly compatible visions overall. Yeah. Yeah.
I like you're opinionated. Like, and I think when we were first kind of dating, one thing that really excited me about you is that you I don't know how to say this in the perfect way, but like you're just like very open and unapologetic about a lot of things. And I was just like, oh, this is like someone who knows who they are and is like a very serious person. And yeah, like that was great.
That's nice.
All right. I think next one.
Yeah.
One thing I think could be better. You want to hear it?
Oh no, that wasn't the question.
I'm kidding.
All right.
I'm looking at this croissant that you just shredded apart with your.
This is my croissant, so I get to eat it the way that I want.
Like, so this is like a croissant pastry. It's not like a.
It's a pull apart.
Yeah. But it's a flaky pastry. It's got some chocolate in the middle, and you just shred it apart.
Ahmed really is particular. It's like a mix of I'm a messy eater, and Ahmed's also very particular with how he eats his croissants.
And I just
decimate them.
All I'm looking at is just, you shredded it. You literally ate the heart of chocolate out of it.
I mean, that's the good part, man. I think my method works.
There's like so much flaky pastry.
I like to go in for the kill.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks like it's just, I'm looking at a heap
it's like a carcass
of shredded croissant, and you just have a crumpled up paper towel. Like your job is done there, and it's just thrown on top.
It was delicious. All right, we can skip this one if you want. I'm not sure, but it's a good one in terms of.
We're almost at an hour. By
vulnerability.
The way. We can cut some of these though.
No.
Okay, we cannot.
How do you feel
guys,
about?
This is the Peter Jackson cut of the field between.
How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
It is what it is.
All right, fair. Let's keep going. All right.
Although I will say, there are things that I think I get my sense of humor from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's sweet. She's cute.
Right.
She's very I think also the wanting people to be comfortable thing comes from her, because she's constantly just like, I wish she wouldn't, but you mentioned earlier that, she was using the bathroom here, and then she realized that you couldn't, and you just like went to the one that was down the hall,
which is like so not a big deal. It took me like a minute.
Not a big deal at all. And she was just like profusely apologetic.
Yeah, she was super sad about it.
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah. I feel really close to my mom. I feel like we have very similar sensibilities in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
And it's been a real joy getting older and being able to like, I still always think of her as my mom, obviously, but being able to like converse in a more like, not friend-like way, because I feel like it's disrespectful to the role that she plays, but really being able to talk openly is really nice.
Yeah.
And just like the ways that we think are very similar in terms of like, we both are very list oriented. We're both very like planners. And so the older I get, the more I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life.
You guys would have been great Boy Scouts.
We would have been. Yeah.
Share what?
Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life.
Boy.
I think I've told you this before, but like my classic one I always think about is
what?
Nelson. If you're out there, Nelson. He's not out there.
What did you do? You pissed your pants?
No. Oh my gosh.
What happened?
No, I was 12. I was in middle school and I had a huge crush on him.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of liked me too. He sat next to me in homeroom and we would like talk a lot.
Uh-huh.
And then he asked me a question one day and I don't know why, but I just like opened my mouth and a blob of spit fell out onto the floor.
That sucks.
And he looked so grossed out. Yeah. And I was so devastated. And we didn't really talk after that. It was kind of a game ender.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't talk after that?
No. I like felt too embarrassed and he just didn't try. He was kind of a quiet kid already, so
What's
it was
wrong
a wrap.
With Nelson?
I don't know, man. Yeah.
What's he up to now?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah. Hope he's good though.
Yeah. I can't think of anything very embarrassing, to be honest. I almost shat my pants in front of a stranger.
When?
This was I can't remember. Okay, I think I told you this story, but this was first job out of college. I don't remember what year. It had to have been 2014 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I think I'd traveled recently, and then I was like constipated for a while. Like I'd been sick, and it had been like days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yo, this is not good. And I'd been like not eating, and I was like very hungry, but also just like felt so backed up and stuff. This is real gross. But I don't know why. I went home for lunch one day and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to eat. And I ate a Chipotle bowl. And then like nothing. I just still felt like very backed up. I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw caution to the wind. And I drank a bunch of prune juice. And I think I'd also had like a laxative. And nothing happened. And then I was like, okay. I was hoping to like do the bowel movement at home.
Right.
And nothing was happening. So I was like, fuck it. Okay, I'm just going to go back to work. Mm-hmm. So I drove back to the office. And suddenly... and then I go to the restrooms in our office, all of them taken. There's an upstairs restroom because our office was 2 floors in the building. The other bathroom is being renovated. So it was like totally shut down. I was like, fuck. Okay. So I take the elevator down in the building to the gym where there was a single stall. Someone's already in it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is an emergency. Like this is really bad. Like, and so my last recourse was I worked across the street from our building was across the street from a convention center. Mm-hmm. Where usually during the day it was not a lot going on, and sometimes it was a very pleasant pooping experience because those bathrooms are very nice. They had like the stall doors that go all the way down to the floor. It was a nicely lit bathroom. And they had like the really thick paper towel cloth things for washing and drying your hands. I was like, okay, I'll go there, but I like ran across the street. I was very uncomfortable. There's an anime convention going on.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that part.
Like a bunch of cosplayers. So the bathrooms were all full. And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. And so I was just like, at this point, I was just about to like go in my pants because like I just
couldn't control it. Yeah.
I was barely walking. Like I couldn't move suddenly because, so I was like clenched. I'd been there before for a conference. And I was just kind of like running around the building. I go around to the side of the building that there's no conference. There's like one more set of bathrooms that I like knew about. And there was a woman cleaning them. So they were like shut down for a little while. And I was just like went by I was like, I have to go right now. This is an emergency.
Yeah.
And I just go into the bathroom. The front door of the bathroom is open, but I just go into the stall and just explode.
Yeah.
Like felt great, but it was also, I felt very bad for this woman.
Poor baby. At least you made it,
Barely.
Could have been worse.
I've never not been able to get my pants down. Like I was just... I was just like rough. So panicked, and I don't know if you've ever had the experience of just like trying to like whatever. Anyway,
yeah, it was I have. Time. It's unfortunately a relatable experience.
Ooh. Yeah.
All right, question.
But still never shit my pants, so that's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Question 30. So we're getting there.
Okay, great.
When did you last cry in front of another person by yourself? I last cried yesterday.
In front of another person by yourself?
Or by yourself.
Or by yourself.
Or it's like a second part question. And when did you last cry by yourself? I last cried yesterday. I cry a lot. I'm like a big crier. It's a funny feature of my adult life. I did not cry much, I think, prior to college.
You love it.
But yeah, the floodgates open. Like actually it was something I was kind of known for in my family as a kid, that I didn't cry easily. And I cry a lot now. Yeah, it's like an easy... It makes me feel less frustrated. It helps me feel more calm. It's like a little embarrassing, but it is something I do very easily.
You feel embarrassed? Really?
A little bit, yeah.
Why?
I think because I cry about things that you wouldn't cry about and it feels awkward.
So should I start crying with you?
No. I think we're in a good place now, but I think when we first moved in together, I just felt self-conscious that it would make me seem like... No, seriously though, that it would make me seem less serious, or I wouldn't get as much of a say in things because I seemed so emotional. Mm-hmm. But I just I can be both very emotional and opinionated at contain multitudes. So yeah, one doesn't negate the other, but I think that's something I felt like uneasy about initially. I feel less uneasy about that now.
Do when you were, I think more in the beginning of our relationship, or when we started living together.
More in the beginning of our marriage.
Because we live in like not really a studio; it's a loft,
but it's like a very open concept. It's not a lot of privacy. Yeah.
I could tell that you would be like, I don't know, feeling worked up about something.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, are you going to listen to like a podcast or something? Are you going to put your headphones on? You'd come to me and just be like, so what are you going to put your headphones on? And then you would go upstairs and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to a podcast with my headphones on, I guess. And then I would take my headphones off and I just hear sniffling upstairs. And I'm like, what's going on? But also there were times when it was just, you would go and be like, okay, good luck on working on your dissertation.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother genre of crying.
Office, and
I'd just be like sobbing.
And then I would just hear sniffling.
The number of times
very heartbreaking.
I've like opened the Word. It sounds so silly, but yeah, the number of times I've like opened that Word document and just like started crying is like way too high to count.
That's the thing. It was like I would kind of wait for a little while and then I'd go check on you.
Yeah.
And then I would see that you'd not written a sentence, and you just got up there and started crying. Like immediately, you just opened the Word doc. You're looking at a Word doc where the cursor's just blinking at you. And you're just like
it feels like overwhelming. Yeah. So I'm a big crier. When did you last cry?
Shit. I don't remember.
It's been a minute since you cried. I can't remember.
I don't know. Yeah.
You are like a healthy crier though. You don't like stop yourself from crying. You're not weird about it, but you don't cry as often as I do.
I'm not weird about it. I think there are times, probably the last time would have been to myself, if I felt like I was very like disconnected from my body and I was just like sitting there and not really. Yeah. And I'm not like crying or like, but
it's like frustration.
Tears.
Yeah,
I'm just like
course,
very frustrated. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's fair. What if anything is too serious to be joked about?
Oh, I don't know if we should answer that.
Why?
I don't know.
I think for me, I've heard some successful rape jokes that are making fun of like the lack of care for victims and that sort of thing. But I think I really struggle with humor about like sexual violence. I'm pretty humorless about it. I even have a hard time watching like shows. It just I don't think is like a higher on my horse thing or whatever this phrase is. What's the phrase? On your high horse. Yeah. I think because I'll watch shows that are quite violent and that are like all these other terrible things, but I just like can't watch Game of Thrones, and I don't think I'm a better person for that. Just like my personal thing, I have a hard time watching. I'm still dying about the horse.
I'm high on the horse, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's like my own thing.
Sense.
The only thing I feel strongly about.
I feel like if I don't know, I don't feel like anything's off limits.
Ahmed's like done stand up and stuff, so you have a different perspective, I think.
Well, yeah, no, I think for me personally, there are certainly things that like are off limits to me. But I think if you're trying to come up with a rule for everyone,
that's a fair distinction. Yeah.
Like I can't joke about everything because that's annoying, and it's not something I'd be good at necessarily. But could there be someone who does like this joke on this topic better? Probably. Okay. So yeah.
33. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone, and why haven't you told them yet?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I can think about a couple ways you might answer this.
maybe we skip this one.
All right, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be? Why? Let's say not laptop or phone, because that's too practical. I mean, obviously our laptop and phones have a lot of information on them. But beyond that, what would we save?
What?
Oh, I know what I would save. I have a painting my grandfather did of two jazz musicians that I just like love with my whole soul. And it was a gift for my parents for my wedding day. I begged for it, and I would save that.
I might try to save. Not might. I think I would try to save, like, I have a box where I keep all the letters and stuff we wrote to each other.
Aww.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go for that because I think that's like the one thing that can't really be replaced.
Yeah. All right, last one. Ready?
Yeah.
Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Also, ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you've chosen. This is tricky because I feel like I constantly tell you all my personal problems.
Yeah.
I think one that I had recently is there's a friend that I've lost touch with recently that I felt sad about. And your advice is kind of just to like let it go. And that's kind of, I think, the right thing.
Yeah. And to try to not take it personally.
Which is, that part is really hard for me. Yeah.
What's the personal problem that I have? I've got no problems. I'm great. I'm very lucky in that way.
I mean, I can only think of big things like not liking your job and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time thinking of a smaller thing.
And your solution is for me to just not work anymore.
Once we save up enough money, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Or to work at something different, yeah.
Right.
This feels a little anticlimactic. But overall, I think that it still stands up. I think we had some good conversations. I think it's a good exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. I may cut around some of them. I don't know if I'll keep all of them in the edit.
Really? I like them. Yeah. Which ones?
I know, but it's kind of long. I don't know.
Okay. We'll see.
We'll figure it out in the editing room.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.